Welcome to Hockenheimring for race 20 out of 25 for UAL3. Coming in, the championship standings are getting very tight. So we're narrowing after this race, there will only be 5 races left. Here are your current championship standings. We see Jack Daniels pulling out to an even bigger lead with 699 points. Karl Marx 67 points behind. He'll have to do a lot of work. He can't even catch up in this race. That's a couple races work to try and catch up. Luckily, the final race is double points at Auto Club, so maybe you'll be able to catch up then. Bob McFarland third. Tom O'Laughlin passed John Christensen for fifth once again, but only about a point gap separates them, so that's barely anything. Bone and Dylan swapped spots, and then the bottom four, Ethan Martz, Baguette Boy, Edgelord, and Chad Broski, they're mathematically eliminated from the title. You have to have 416 points to be eligible. So far, Jack Steersman is right on the edge. He'd need to win every single race and have Jack Daniels finish last. He'd basically need a miracle. Like, literally, he'd need it to go perfect. Sorry about that. We are back. Jack Steersman has just went off track, so we're just talking about how he's gonna need to kick it into high gear. That's not any way to try and do it. We're waiting on, I think Icy Cow will be the first one to be able to set a lap. Yeah, look at the configuration. It has a very tight hairpin up at the top of the track. A lot of chaos may happen up there. Baguette Boy coming, I meant Icy Cow coming across the line. He'll be the first one to set a lap. 151.388. So far, Snoop Dogg now P1. Trying to keep up with the leaders here. We go down into the tight hairpin. Icy Cow gets by Bone. Just barely. Both of these two are, as Bone actually will stay ahead. Bad exit for Icy Cow. Yeah, Bone and Icy Cow are on the verge of being mathematically eliminated from the championship. Very close. Bone is closer than Icy Cow, but they both have one win this season. Icy Cow actually got it on the first race, and it's just been downhill from there. No major results have really shown. John Christensen goes P3. Karl Marx off by 0.07 off of Snoop Dogg. Icy Cow improves a little, but still remains in 7th. Edgelord sets a time, but probably not official, as yeah, he's in pit lane. That's not an official time to really go off of. Bob McFarland goes P1. Jack Daniels goes P2. Bone finished 2nd at Chicagoland. Almost won at Watkins Glen, and then also he actually won at Kentucky. So he's been on a hot streak. Here's Bob McFarland trying to get a draft from Ethan Mark, but he's going to try and dive to the inside. Going around the very narrow turn, you'll get around him. So far, top time of 1:47.7. Icy Cow once again closed in on Bone. Looks like these two are currently evenly challenged, as actually Bone's starting to pull away a little. 1 minute to go, as Baguette Boy goes P1 with a 1:47.2. Doesn't really look like he got any draft help, but also doesn't have any traffic ahead of him. Karl Marx currently stuck behind Edgelord. Karl Marx gonna need to start doing way better. He's been on a bad streak. As oh, Bob McFarland went off track. As Jack Daniels has now caught back up here. So 1, 2, 3 in the standings are currently 4, 3, 2 in practice. McFarland has almost caught Karl Marx in points. As people coming across the line now will get at least one more lap. Doesn't look like Karl Marx and Edgelord, who are coming up to the line, will get another lap. They're just gonna need to finish their lap, as Karl Marx actually just pulls into pit lane. Edgelord off the speed by almost 12 seconds. Here's John Christensen. Had a very bad race at Chicagoland. Involved in 2 major accidents, but still wasn't as bad as Edgelord, who did even worse. At one point during the race, he was in 75% of all the crashes. He was in 3 out of 4 at the time. There were a couple crashes afterwards he wasn't involved in. But yeah, very bad day. Chad Broski coming around. He's the only person to have not set a time yet. As Ethan Martz went off track, so did Bob McFarland. Chad Broski goes 9th. These guys are about 4 seconds off the leading pace. As Baguette Boy, I didn't even notice, has a 2-second lead over Bob McFarland as Tom O'Laughlin goes 3rd. Baguette Boy won at Chicago. Currently mathematically eliminated from the championship. Not enough points. But it looks like as of now, he's putting on a clinic. People still coming around to finish their final laps. Sorry you just heard me drink. Gotta stay hydrated so my mouth doesn't get dry like last race since it was almost an hour and a half. Yeah, Jack Steersman, he's on the hot seat for the championship. He needs everything to go right. He literally need like just absolute miracle. He'd need to win every single race, so he'd need to win 6 races. Which we've never even, I don't think we, oh, yeah, I don't think we've ever had 3 wins in a row by a single person. If we did, it would have been in season 1. Waiting to finish. As there we go. We're about to enter qualifying mode. If Jack Daniels gets the pole, that'll be 3 poles in a row. Now, you may be wondering why Jack Daniels was third at a certain point. Well, it was because he just started the season really bad and just never was able to catch up until about 10 races in, where he started getting very close, and eventually he took the championship lead. You see a couple cars coming out on track now. They gotta hurry because time runs out in these qualifyings very quick. Usually on road courses, there's always that one person who just never got around in time and just never was able to set time. Started all the way in the back. Yeah, the people currently out right now, unless they come into pit road, they'll definitely get some time. Big Bob already slowing down Daniels behind him. Luckily, Jack Daniels has some time to get around him. Karl Marx has clear traffic for a little bit. He has Bone a couple seconds ahead, as Daniels is going to try and dive to the inside of Big Bob. Big Bob cuts him off. Not going to be able to get around him now. People that haven't came out yet, they're going to have some issues. Probably not going to be able to set times if they wait any longer. A lot of cars have just came out. I see Dylan Pettigrew, Chad Borowski, Ethan Martz still in the pits. They have finally just left. Bob McFarland in the 41, currently on the curved stretch, is our first car that will be able to set a lap. Obvious, as Snoop Dogg is actually tracking faster than him. Snoop Dogg has a little bit more of clear traffic. McFarland is stuck behind Icy Cow. We're going to have to see how that second sector will work out, because Snoop Dogg is now slowly catching some traffic. Bob McFarland coming up. Green, meaning that is not the best sector so far. Somebody that isn't, well, probably someone on their outlap set a pretty good second sector speed. Brendan Hubbard currently behind John Christensen. In the 44 and 45 respectively. Snoop Dogg goes off track. That is not good, as Bob McFarland will be the first one to set a lap. Currently Bob McFarland P1 as Karl Marx is tracking really fast. Double pink. Does not seem like guys like Ethan Martz are going to be able to set a lap. Anyone that comes into the pits now will not be able to set a competitive lap. Karl Marx not close enough, 149.3. Jack Daniels 150.2. I don't know if they're going to be able to set another lap as Bob McFarland went yellow. We're going to see if anyone can beat him. Jack Steersman, double green. As John Christensen goes pink in the second sector before quickly getting taken down to a green. But he is really fast right now. We're going to have to see what his time will be. Bob McFarland, as Jack Steersman goes third, so he's starting to pick up the speed. Bob McFarland does not improve. Icy Cow will be next. As he will not be able, he'll go up to 8th. John Christensen, this is a good one. Alfredo Saucy's also on good one. P1, Brennan Hubbard 5th. Alfredo Saucy 3rd. Here comes Snoop Dogg. Double yellow. Dylan Pettigrew currently has a pink, but he is stuck behind Edgelord. Definitely will slow him down. Here he comes. Dylan Pettigrew goes third, but got slowed down. Chad Broski second, not good enough. Bone is not good enough as... Whew, that got very close in those final stages. So, here's your race info for today. Hockenheimring, Baden-Württemberg, I don't know how to pronounce that, but configuration of Grand Prix one. We are in Germany, in city of Hockenheim. 2.81 mile track, 78 degrees. Track temp is 116 degrees. That is very hot. 55% chance of rain, partly cloudy, 2 mile per hour. Hockenheimring is one of the F1 tracks that had many different configurations from over the years. Currently, Hockenheimring has used the same configuration for about 20 years. They used to have a blast down the woods, but that does not exist anymore. Very unfortunate, as let's show your starting grid. John Christensen gets the pole by about 2.5 tenths over Chad Broski. A good qualifying for Christensen. Bob McFarland and Dylan Pettigrew will take up row 2. O'Loughlin and Alfredo Saucy will be in row 3. Karl Marx and Monsieur Bone in row 4. Jack Steersman and Brendan Hubbard in row 5. And then Jack Daniels way back here in row 6, along with Big Bob. As let's show the rest of the grid. Row 7, Edgelord and Icy Cow. Row 8, Baguette Boy and Snoop Dogg. Row 9 is Ethan Martz, all by himself, as he did not set a lap. Everyone else did. We are currently waiting to go. Got a big race for the championship ahead of us. If Karl Marx and Bob McFarland got good starts now, that we will not have a pace lap. It will be just green immediately. Standing start. A lot of our European races have standing starts, as well as Lime Rock also had a standing start. But like races like Watkins Glen, Barber, New Hampshire Oval, Laguna Seca, which I think is next. Let me check the calendar. Next up is Laguna Seca. That one is rolling start. ASMR. Ew. Yeah, after this we have a very interesting set of tracks, each one different from the rest. We have Laguna Seca, and then we will have Martinsville, which is the shortest track that UAL will have ever raced on. Interlagos, and then we have our first street course with Long Beach, and then we'll end it all up at Auto Club. All the 5 races that we have left, we have never raced on besides Laguna Seca. We are currently waiting about 30 seconds till green. Here we go. The lights will begin to go.
Green, green, green.
Lights off and away we go. A little F1 tribute right there. John Christensen got an amazing start, launching us into the first turn. Oh, Karl Marx goes way wide as Chad Edgelord and Ethan Martz make contact in the back. As Bob McFarland now trying to make a move for second. Karl Marx went way wide. Another mistake towards his championship, as now John Christensen is defending. Here they all go into the hairpin. Will they all make it? A lot of position swapping through the hairpin. Jack Daniels already up 2 spots. Top 3 have all remained relatively the same. We have a little bit of battling back here. Yeah, Edgelord and Ethan made contact right at the start. Yet another bad day for Edgelord. The 2 of them are both mathematically out of the championship. As now Bob McFarland trying to chase down Chad Broski. As Ethan Martz goes off track again. far behind the field. Now you see back there Jack Daniels trying to make a move on Brennan Hubbard. Brennan Hubbard defends well, however. Icy Cow moves up into 11th. Another exciting first lap. There'll be a competition caution somewhere on lap 6. Christensen got a great start as here comes McFarland trying to get around Broski. Each position is points. Karl Marx now trying to get up through the field again. Just moved into the 12th position. As Bob McFarland is now under fire from Tom O'Laughlin. We have a little bit of action back here. Jack Daniels was able to get around Brendan Hubbard, and now Alfredo Saucy is hanging on for dear life. John Christensen still just trying to extend his lead to about 3 seconds now. Everyone trying to snake around back here. Karl Marx is just trying to gain positions back that he lost at the start. Edgelord currently trying to get some repairs after being towed back to pit road. Karl Marx is being held up by Icy Cow. Luckily, he has a great passing opportunity going into the hairpin. He's going to try and go to the inside, but then he fakes and goes to the outside. Will this work? It does not. He's going to have to wait another lap. Jack Daniels already up 5 spots since the start. And now is going to try and look to get around Dylan Pettigrew. Everybody just trying to get by each other back here. Most of them are still currently in the championship hunt, just unlikely. The only person in this group that you really see that isn't is Baguette Boy, currently in 14th. John Christensen does 146.8, just still extending his lead. He's really good with pit stops, and that's going to be crucial today. Christensen currently 6th in the standings. Dylan Pettigrew just still trying to hold on to his position from Jack Daniels. Alfredo Saucy is under attack from Brennan, but Alfredo Saucy is trying to attack Bone. As here we go down into the hairpin. Will he be able to get by? No, but Brennan sends it in. There's a little bit of room, but he could not take advantage of it. Jack Daniels knocking on the door for another top 5. Is now Alfredo Saucy under attack from Brennan. He's gonna go to the inside. Does not work. It does look like Brennan has a little bit of damage at the front of his car. Maybe something that happened at the start. He has only gotten by one car today, and that is Jack Steersman. Yeah, currently where Steersman is, that is not gonna gain him a championship. So now Dylan just needs to hold on for one more lap. So he has Jack Daniels right behind him. And he's also now, he keeps extending the gap on Daniels in just that one area of the track. Just doesn't seem like he has any speed, as now he is chasing Tom O'Laughlin. Brendan Hubbard passed Alfredo Saucy for 8th. John Christensen now is just going to need to worry about his pit stop, because it definitely seems like he is the fastest car today. As Dylan Pettigrew is now almost within half a second behind O'Laughlin. Now, the competition caution will come out. John Christensen now just going to have to try and get another good pit stop. I know he can definitely do it, knowing that he's been one of the best with pit stops this whole season. This will be his 3rd win this season. He won at Michigan and Barber. Barber so far his only road course career win. He's won in America. Just now he needs to win across the seas. I don't think he's ever actually won a non-American race. Could today be his day? New Hampshire Roval looked like he could have gotten a win, but he just did not conserve fuel and had to pit late. Hopefully he won't do that today. Now we're pulling up the other side. We've just extended our timing tower for when the pit times will show up. Everyone queuing in behind the safety car. back of the pack is now just starting to catch up. I think this pit stop's going to be very crucial. So far, your biggest mover at the time of the caution is Jack Daniels, up 5 spots, started in 11th, already up to 6th. And then your biggest loser is a tie between Karl Marx and Edgelord. Both have lost 4 spots. Edgelord crashed in the first turn and Karl Marx went very wide in the first turn and just never... Well, he's trying to recover. Started 7th. But not yet again another bad championship day. But just minor little mistakes. As now I'd assume everyone's gonna start getting ready for the pit stop. So currently your top 5 at the time of the caution is Christensen, Broski, McFarland, O'Laughlin, and Pettigrew. And the rest of your top 10 is Daniels, Bone, Hubbard, Saucy, Steersman. So now here they come. Gonna have to do a very good pit stop. The farther back you started, the farther down your pit box is gonna be. So Christensen's pit box is gonna be all the way at the end. As Daniels pulls in, Christensen now stopping. Daniels is off. Christensen will win the race off pit road as McFarland has a slow pit stop. Daniels now within the top 5, went from 6th to 4th. Fredo Saucy tanked the pit stop, a 14.3. A Snoop Dogg is having issues, still in pit road. Edgelord should get the wave around. He is currently behind the pace car. An 8.4 for Christensen. Broski had an 8.1. Your fastest pit stop was by Jack Daniels with a 7-second pit stop. Your slowest one is a 45.9 from Snoop Dogg. But besides that, it would be a 14.3 from Alfredo Saucy. He has now lost 8 spots since the start. He is our biggest loser. We are still currently under yellow. I think we'll be going next time by, or maybe the time after that. I'm not quite sure. This is the second stop in Germany this season. The other stop was at Nürburgring on the Grand Prix course, obviously not the Nordschleife. I think if I can recall, Karl Marx won that, but I'm not 100% sure. Edgelord should not be a factor as he may get the wave around soon. As we are going next time by, Edgelord is now finally getting the wave around. So he has to do a full lap, but yet he will still remain a lap down. I think 2 laps down, actually. As it is raining outside where I am, but it's all sunshine here in Germany. So John Christensen is gonna need a good restart. He's gonna need to try and get ahead as Edgelord has crashed. It says he had crashed on what happened here. What? Dude. Locks up the brakes while trying to do the wave around and goes into the grass. Seriously, man? Anyways, Edgelord is still trying to catch up to the back of the grid. Yeah, Bob McFarland and Dylan Pettigrew lost a lot of spots on that pit stop. Yet another situation where all is right for Daniels and everything goes disastrous for McFarland and Marks. I can't believe that. I know you're trying to catch up to the back of the field, guy, but come on, don't go off track. I don't think he's caught up to the back of the grid. Yeah, he hasn't. He's somewhere. Here we are, coming through the last sector now. Only a couple turns left, and the pace car will pull off. And we'll be back under green. Just don't send it wide. That's your one job. Don't botch it. This pace car pulls off. Coming to green. Green flag is back out. Broski now trying to go around. Can't get by. Solidly through the first turn. We have some action near the back. 3 wide right behind him as Edgelord has crashed once again. How? Chad Broski now under fire from Tom O'Laughlin. He's going to try and look around as you see the field back there try and fan out as Daniels muscles his way around O'Laughlin. Nearly shoved him out of the way. As now Broski is about less than half a second behind Christensen. Christensen now under threat from Broski. Now Christensen is kind of relieved of the danger. As back here we have some good racing as O'Loughlin is now trying to attack Daniels right back. Daniels now gonna have to try and hold off O'Loughlin as he is now trying to get around Broski. I think Jack Daniels has been on the podium at least since Lime Rock, because I know he crashed out at Kentucky and finished 4th at Mid-Ohio. But flawless start to the season as now he is going to try and move for 2nd. Can't quite get it. Christensen now starting to pull away even more. He's back here. McFarland trying to cut his way back up through the field. Big Bob, one of the few cars that have not moved at all since the start. Trying to get at least one pass on Icy Cow. As Alfredo Saucy almost drove himself in the wall trying to pass him. Snoop Dogg just got around Ethan Martz. As now Snoop Dogg has went off track. Pathetic. Christensen does another fast lap with a 1:46.4. Almost about 6/10 better than Broski in 2nd. Definitely his race to lose as now he just has to extend the lead. So if he does, as Alfredo Saucy flinging himself down the front stretch just trying to get around. Talk about aggressive. Alfredo Saucy yet another race that seemed promising, gone down the drain. While Edgelord has been the class clown. Again. Baguette Boy now trying to move around Alfredo Saucy, that does not work. This little group near the back is kind of just stuck together as McFarland is now trying to get around Hubbard. Hubbard trying to play defensive. Doesn't let him get around as Daniels is now closing in on Broski yet again. At this point, the championship's starting to become gifted to him by just the astonishing driving that he has done and the bad luck by others. As now he is going to be on the inside for this next turn. Will Broski be able to hold on? Daniels has not been good at this turn. Broski locks up the wheels a bit, but defends nicely as Daniels' best turn is coming up after the curve. Daniels gonna be on the outside. Will he cross over to the inside? No, he is gonna try and stay there. He's getting a run. Broski will outbrake him. But will Daniels get the better exit? He will. Side by side once again. As Daniels will finally get the position. Yet another great race by Daniels. Whoa. That is not supposed to happen. Oops. So now Daniels has one driver left to catch. Will he have enough time, though? As Jack Steersman has went off track. Yeah, Steersman's hopes and dreams for the championship has gone down the drain, especially with Edgelord crashing out. He'd need Edgelord to finish like third for him to get his miracle championship. Broski finishing second. It was an opportunity. Could have happened, but it didn't. Now Daniels is got just try and have to claw away at the gap as McFarland trying to go on Hubbard, as now Pettigrew's now trying to attack McFarland. As now Hubbard's now going to try and attack Bone. Crosses over. Can't quite pick a line as now Pettigrew diving to the inside on McFarland. As Karl Marx is also back there. Second, third, and fourth in the championship are right here. Then two guys right on the cusp of being eliminated from the championship are also back here. Hubbard now going to have to try and defend on the outside. Or attack on the outside, rather. As now he's going to have to defend on the inside as McFarland tried to send it as Karl Marx gets around Dylan Pettigrew. Not quite yet. Pettigrew got the better exit. Now lap traffic is in the way for Steersman back there. It's Christensen just still extending his gap. Definitely proved himself to be the car to beat today. Now can he just hold on? As Daniels severely caught him. Well, didn't catch him, but closed the gap by a lot just in that one turn. So now it's down to 4 seconds. Christensen was extending the gap and then just screwed it up in one turn. As Edgelord is all over the place as Icy Cow and Big Bob try and get around him. So now he's stacking up traffic between Alfredo Saucy and Baguette Boy. So we're almost within 2 seconds of the lead between Christensen and Daniels. Is it all turning sour for Christensen? As close racing up here. Back here, Brennan Hubbard trying to attack on Bob McFarland. As now, let's pull up the sectors. Daniels almost a second faster in that first sector. In the second sector, Daniels is coming around. Not as fast. We're gonna have to keep tabs on that. The gap is definitely trying to be closed as... Oh, yeah, he's catching up a lot. I think it may be over for Christensen. As now he is within a second. Christensen and Daniels gonna have to battle. Daniels another good race for him. Ooh, Christensen barely edged him out in that first sector. Gonna have to see how this second sector will fare. Charging down. This is one of Daniel's best turns as he definitely outbrakes him. The third sector is where Daniels catches Christensen a lot, as Brennan Hubbard is now being reported as crashed. May have just went off track, as steersman went very wide, it seemed, on the track map. As now Christensen is starting to extend the gap again. Beat him in that turn. Maybe it's not quite over just yet. Christensen still has a little bit of fight in him. But Daniels successfully pressured him. As that third sector was one of Christensen's best. As that was one of Christensen's best laps, 146.0. I think he may have been trying to conserve some fuel and saw what was coming behind him. We're gonna have to see if he can make it to the finish. But as that is now almost up to about 4-second gap again. As now we see Brennan Hubbard trying to get around Bone. What Christensen really needs Christensen is being reported as crashed. But does not look like he did actually crash, but the gap definitely went down. Maybe he had a slight off-track excursion. However you say that word, I can't English. Bone goes way wide. That may have been what happened to Christensen, as Bone is now being reported as crashed. Yeah, it is raining where I am, but very perfect day here at Hockenheim. As now Ethan is being reported as crashing. I think the longer these tires go, the more people are starting to run that turn wide. As Daniels now just had one of his best laps, almost closing the door by a second. Now Edgelord is once again being reported as crashed. This one I think may have actually been a genuine crash. We see him stopped over by Mercedes. As now Pettigrew gonna try and get around McFarland. McFarland defends, blocking. That is definitely a block. As Hubbard runs wide, leaving the door open for McFarland, as he will get the position, but will Hubbard defend? Hubbard will not be able to get him, as Marks tried to attack Pettigrew, could not get around him. Brennan gonna try and get by him again. That's successful defense by McFarland. Still keeping tabs on the leaders, as they're gonna come around onto the front stretch to see what their fastest times, well, what their times from that lap will be. We'll be able to compare. 147.1 for Christensen, 147.8 for Daniels. Still, Christensen is just trying to keep ahead. It's definitely been a struggle, but he can't breathe easy quite yet. Especially just because it takes one wrong move at that turn, and his day will be over. And that can happen anywhere on the track, not just that one turn. He could go wide in turn one like we saw Karl Marx do on the first lap. As Karl Marx just got by Dylan Pettigrew, speaking of him. Doesn't seem like lap traffic is going to be an issue. Now our gap and interval is telling two different stories between the gap between Christensen and Daniels as McFarland goes around losing even more positions. Yeah, something like that could just happen. Bob McFarland was looking steady on track for another top 5 finish, and then he's ass backwards. Free to go. Once again, Christensen narrows out Daniels on that lap time. There's about the biggest gap between two cars on track, besides Edgelord, is between Ethan Martz and Snoop Dogg. And then besides that, it would be between McFarland and Steersman. You can see McFarland is coming on the front stretch, while Steersman has a couple turns left. Steersman will not even come into frame when trying to look back. As Daniels has now closed the gap once again. The pressure is back on. Daniels really hustling the car around this lap. He's gonna outbrake him into the turn as what looked like to be a solid lead for him has now just evaporated as we see Karl Marx run wide in the background, letting Dylan Pettigrew get by. Here we come into Jack Daniels' best turn. Christensen feeling the pressure now. Jack Daniels right behind him. It's going to be very defensive down the front stretch. Oh, very bad lap for Christensen. That explains a lot. Another great turn for Daniels. He's going to try and attack. He's going to try and shoot out on the high side. Heavy braking into the turn. 2 laps to go. Christensen had a great exit. But now we're coming into one of Daniels' best turns. Daniels not able to get by. Seems like Christensen's doing better than him in the first sector. Second sector's about even, and then Daniels beats him in the third sector. So now the gap is gaining once again. but just really bad lap. How did he get a 150? And then Daniels had one of his best laps with a 147. As now it closes back in again. Just not a good sector for Christensen. He's gonna need to be perfect on these last couple turns in the final lap. He does really good on these last couple turns as Daniels comes into pit. Jack Daniels comes into pit road. Could not stretch the fuel. Now will Christensen be able to make it around? As he will lose second, but he's still currently on the podium. O'Loughlin's also in pit road. As here comes Karl Marx about to come around him. This is massive for the championship as McFarlane's in. Daniels is finally away, but right behind who he needs to beat. As John Christensen, no pressure, 11 seconds between him and Broski. There's just no way. Bob McFarlane losing a lot of time, 9-second pit stop. Jack Daniels botches it. Christensen through the last couple turns. Another bizarre end. Just, you have to stretch the fuel. Christensen, I think that's why he was slow. He was managing the fuel, and he did it well while Daniels was trying to hustle it around. As Bone gets past Daniels as Broski goes off track. Welcome to winning in Europe, John. As he will win the race as Daniels now going to try and get around Bone for 6th. Then back here, also some battling. But we don't want to see that. We want to see Bone and Daniels. As Bone will be able to hold on to 6th as Daniels, a disappointing 7th. His streak of podiums has finally come to an end. We go up through the field. Another great performance between some of the top guys. Broski gets on the podium once again. Although he's mathematically eliminated, he's just going to try and end the season on a high note. This is Christensen's 3rd win, and knowing how O'Loughlin and Hubbard finished behind him, I don't know if he'll be able to get by Hubbard in the standings, but this will definitely help him towards the championship. Fortunately, McFarland will finish behind Daniels, so he'll not be able to catch up. So we are waiting on a couple people to come across the line. We're waiting on Edgelord, but he just went off track again, so meh. What can you do? What can you do? As now, let's look through your finishing results as, whoa, what happened there? The standing machines is broken. It says grid. What? There we go. So we see John Christensen winning the race. Then we see Chad Broski in second. Dylan Pettigrew takes third. Brennan Hubbard fourth. Yet another good day for him. Karl Marx gonna try and close the gap for the championship. Only it's about 4 points more for him. Any point matters. And we also see Bone get sixth. Daniels, rough finish, will finish seventh. O'Laughlin eighth. Steersman ninth. Icy Cow will take 10th. Baguette Boy 11th. Alfredo Saucy, rough day, finishes 12th. Big Bob 13th. Snoop Dogg 14th. Bob McFarlane 15th. Ethan Martz 16th. And Edgelord will finish 17th, many laps down. So another great race in UAL. First time we've ever visited Hockenheim. Unfortunately, I am going to be going on vacation, kinda, for about 2 weeks. You see Edgelord being slow. Um, yeah, let's cut over here. We don't need to see that. But I'll be going on vacation for a couple weeks. So no races for a while, but when I do come back, the first race that will be happening is Laguna Seca. So I will see you then.